vehicle, GT3 RS 991.2. Actually, we have two of them here. So we're gonna talk a little bit about tires. So every time these vehicles show up, they need to be balanced. The reason why is the tire will actually rotate due to the forces. So here's our mark that we put here. They'll eventually rotate, so we have to put it back and rebalance because the weights are not gonna be in the right orientation and the car is gonna have vibration. This is a common issue, and most guys that track them don't even know that because they're never told. But here we do that. We make sure that the tires are balanced. These were out by a quarter, and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, when you see that, that's your balance. The balance is gonna be really, really shimmy on the track, especially if you're tracking these vehicles. That's gonna be a big issue because they get hot. The weights can also fly off because of the heat, so the adhesive, we've seen them melt off and just slide off completely due to the adhesive itself. So make sure who's ever working on your car that you track daily or weekly, or if you drive it on the streets like you're on the track, make sure to have that checked out, especially on cars that are RS vehicles, because most of the time they get tracked. As we can see, this one is a real track machine. You know, you can see some bits and pieces that are chipped away right here. You know, it gets used. The nice thing about it is it has paint protection, so that kind of helps things a little bit. So we go around on this side. Our harnesses, we want to make sure these harnesses are properly strapped. They're all working. The roll cage is fine. Everything in that aspect of it is good. So I'm going to open the door. Also, the fire extinguisher is secure. That's very important when you have a track vehicle like this, that all your harnesses are properly strapped and there's nothing loose, like your roll cage, you know, everything's tight and secure. So same thing, hardware is not loose on the seats. You'd be surprised, sometimes guys are taking these out and not properly torquing them, and the seats will become loose, and that's a big problem. So, you know, I want to make sure the fire extinguisher is good, it's not expired, and of course that he has a center locking device for his wheels. Now, after about 8,000 miles, as I mentioned, these center locks typically are recommended for replacement. These are slightly overdue, so we'll put these red tab marks here. If there's ever a problem with the lock mechanism, we know that they're starting to unscrew or something funky's going on with the locking mechanism. So we just do this for safety. They're torqued to spec, but I like to put these marks so I can see if anything's happening, because a lot of times when you track these cars and get them hot, the grease will melt away and actually start sticking to the edges, so they become dry. It's very hard to remove once that occurs. There's a lot involved in doing a track inspection. It takes a while. I know that some of you guys are taking it to dealerships and, you know, maybe not getting charged for the inspections, but it really does take a lot of work, because the proper way to do is remove the wheel, check the brakes, inspect everything, make sure the balance is good. You don't want to have a vehicle that's compromised in any sort of way. Of course, all these bits, sometimes they become loose. There's these vents here for your fender vents. They sometimes become loose, so we do secure them a lot. But other than that, you know, all the components as far as hardware, screws, we always make sure that those components are not loose. These will break sometimes, depending on debris that you might hit, and that can become a big issue. So moving down, of course, all our oil and coolant, that's been checked. So, you know, just to verify it, we're actually letting the car idle so we can check the oil. This is a dry sump engine, so you check it when it's running. So all our components here, make sure everything's tight. Our fans are kicking in, want to make sure all that's working. There you go. There you have it. Beautiful race car. So the way you check oil on these things is obviously you have to be on straight surface. And there we go. There's our oil level. We're still good. We could top it off, 1/8 of a liter, but we're still at the 3/4 level. So that's not bad at all. Take about 2 minutes to check, but this spot right here is a very straight spot here. So now I'll start to do a countdown from 2 minutes as the vehicle's running. So I'm gonna turn this AC off. So yeah, that's what it is. You know, we make sure the coolant's good. Now the tire pressure light, we actually have customer requested 26 PSI in the front, 30 in the back. So we set it for his request. That's what he wanted. So yeah, that's it. That's what we inspect. This is what it's all about. This is a fun car. So we want to make sure customers keep it safe.